Hello everyone, Rebecca Skeele here. Welcome to video number 6, and we are on chapter 3 of Manifesting Your Sacred Ambition. And I am so curious as to what you're getting out of this book study club. I would love for your comments to be posted. If you feel okay about making them public, just post them right there on the YouTube page. And if not, you can send me an email privately if you'd like. And my email is in your autoresponder email that you got when you signed up for the ebook and the study guide. Would love to know. All right, this video is going to be about the importance of waking up to your truth. It is chapter 3, starts on page 15. And I just want to start with this sweet quote by Fig Alley. And I want to thank you, Fig, for letting me put it in this book. There is a whisper that calls your name softly so as not to wake the unimportant ones. Tiptoe to the calling and accept your own grace. It's so important that we allow ourselves to know our truth. And this is the path of bringing sacred callings out into the world and creating a business or an initiative or joining with others in some kind of cause. And it's amazing, quite honestly, how often we don't tell ourselves the truth. We don't allow ourselves to know our truth. You know, speaking truth is part of what is powerful about the big work that comes from a sacred calling. Being able to articulate what is most precious, what is most sacred inside, is part of what we are required to do. And, you know, I tell a little bit of my story in here. I'll tell a lot more when I, write the whole book. When I first started realizing that my sacred calling was to co-create heaven on earth, I couldn't speak it. And then when I did speak it, I wept. I could not talk about it without weeping. And this went on for a long time. And yet over the years, as I took a deep breath and made my feelings okay and began to share what the work that I was here to do, what I was getting clear on as it was emerging, because it was an emergent process, I became stronger in being able to speak truth from my heart. And now it is essential. I mean, look what I do now. I teach this stuff. And I write a book about it, and I lead events, and I run a mentorship, and so it's really important. That's for me. So what I talk about in this chapter is the reason, well, let me just read the first paragraph. Do you speak the truth to yourself? Truth telling is essential if you want to follow your sacred calling. I am not just addressing the truth that feels good to speak. I am also talking about the gnarly and sometimes ugly truth of your personal habitual reactions to you, of self-judgments and self-blame. Now, why am I going there? Because this is part of the process that begins to happen when we get in touch with sacred callings and sacred ambitions, is that we must clear the clutter, what I call clearing the clutter inside, that has to do with shaming thoughts and blaming thoughts and self-judgments and self-limitations. And once we can really work with that in a truthful, honest way with ourselves and know how to clear it and know how to get free of it and set ourselves free of it, then the truth of who we are begins to come forward in a very organic way. It's like it's been there all along, but it's just been cluttered up with a bunch of stuff. So I say other questions that invite truth-telling. What is important to you? What would you commit your life to? Are you loyal to that free impulse to share the light of who you are in the world with wild, loving joy? Or do you abandon that spark over and over again with misguided beliefs that you are unworthy and not deserving? Yeah. I know that the path of learning how to speak the truth has a lot to do with telling ourselves and being honest with ourselves about our feelings. And what am I really feeling about XYZ? And what's really coming up in this moment? And the more, however you do that, the more the truth of you will begin to, I'm looking for a word here, it will convict you. It will bring you into such an energetic place of harmony and balance and resonance that it's like the bell was rung inside of you, and you will know it. And when that happens, not only you will know it, but anybody you are around will know it, because truth begets truth. It's like when it rings inside of me, it rings inside of you, and vice versa. So I go on to talk about, on page 16, I say, kind of halfway down the page, on the journey of self-awakening, the first step is discovering the greater truth of who you are, of listening and being able to respond to the sacred calling of your heart, is to tell the simple truth to yourself about what you are feeling, about when you are afraid, about the limiting beliefs that are present, and about the negative self-talk that runs unchecked in your head. And when you tell yourself the truth, then you can learn to clear away the patterns that keep you repeating behaviors, situations, and circumstances that are not you. That's the good news. That is the good news. And in the event that I do in August, we actually do some of that. We take a journey back to who you are, and we do some clearing. And you learn how to do that in the event. And then on page 17, this greater place of who you are, where your unique expression and essence live, is the birthplace of your sacred calling. But until you learn how to transmute all your inner baggage through self-loving, the sacredness of you cannot take up resonance and thrive. Now, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's like, unless you get all the garbage out of the way, it's like the sacred calling can't really come forward fully. It might peak every once in a while. You might get a glimpse of it, a whiff of it, a distant whisper of it. But what you want is you want it present and available 24/7. Right? Right. One of the truths about your sacred calling is that if you just rely on your will and your ego to start your business or initiative, you will only be working with a very limited part of you. So that's one of the reasons truth is so important, because truth comes from the sacredness of who you are. And ego and will, even though they serve us, and they serve us well in certain situations, they're limited. And when we want to bring our big work out into the world, we don't want limits. And we don't want to be limited. So the last paragraph on page, hold on, what page is that? 18 is, it is only through opening up to and clearing the channels to your great divine power of you that sacred callings are made manifest. You don't make sacred callings happen. You become such a clear channel of open receptivity that they can't help but flow through you and out into the world. And then that takes place, and when that takes place, you cannot not do what you were called to do. So the questions in chapter 3 from your study guide. Number 1, do you tell yourself the truth about what is important to you? If so, what would you commit your life to? Number 2, right in this moment, what are you feeling? When fear is present, what are you afraid of? Number 3, If you have a voice that is negative or shaming inside, what does it say? And number 4, why is telling yourself the truth, important to following your sacred call? So I hope you take time and really explore these questions for yourself. There's a lot of rich material here for you in this journey that we're taking together as we walk through these 5 chapters of this book. So that completes chapter 3. See you next time.